Hey there everyone, welcome to the live stream. Housekeeping duties. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat. I've changed up a lot of things in the shop today, so I'm hoping that everything works out. I'm actually sitting at my computer desk, which is now my live stream desk, so that you can see what's going on behind me. You've got the set, sort of, behind me so that things look good, and I can sit at the desk. I don't have to kind of be on a stool, which is exciting. And it's also my sit-stand desk, so if I really want to, I can stand up, although I'd have to adjust the camera because my computer would currently smash into the lens on the camera. So we've got Casey's Model Mayhem. Welcome to the stream. Like I said, if you can see me and hear me properly, please let me know by leaving a comment in the chat. That will just help me to know that everything is functioning properly, because I've just literally set everything back up, and I'm just kind of hoping that it's all going to work properly. This is nice because this desk where I'm sitting is going to be permanently here. It's my work desk, my computer work desk, but now it's going to be my live stream desk, and I think it's going to be a good setup. So let me know. I don't know right now if everybody can hear me and see me. I'm just going to. This might sound a little bit weird for a moment. Okay, so from what I can see on YouTube, you can see me and hear me, so that is good. So, yeah, I have basically completely torn my shop apart today, and I've rearranged almost everything. The only thing that is still in the same spot right now is the workbench behind me, but that's kind of like the iconic shot for my YouTube videos, so that pretty much has to stay. Although on either side I've got some additional set dressing, and yeah, it looks like you can see the totes, the totes here that all the models are sitting on. Casey's Model Mayhem says, sounds good, looks good. Let me just make sure that my chat program is working properly. Yeah, it's throwing your chat right up here. So that's working properly. So I kind of like to make sure that everything is working out of the gate when first come on to stream. I think this camera looks pretty good. At least on my streaming software, it looks pretty good. So I think this setup is going to be a win. Yeah, oh. Let me know if the audio is better now. I just turned the audio on the camera. I just noticed it was on. It shouldn't have been on, but I just noticed it was on. So hopefully that's going to sound a lot better. I'm going to go back into YouTube. Okay, that looks better. That sounds okay. All right. Yeah. Things are looking okay. So, who is here? I know that Casey's Model Mayhem is here. Glad you're here, but I'd really like to know who else is here in the stream tonight. It's hard to talk to people if I don't really know who I'm talking to. So let me know in the comments. Tell me that you're here, and tell me that you're watching, so I know exactly who I am talking with tonight. And make sure that you do, you know, add some conversation to the chat, because this is really a two-way conversation stream. It doesn't really work well if I'm just sitting here modeling and don't have anybody to talk to. So, yeah. Let's get this thing started. So tonight I am going to be working probably on both Enterprises right now, both at the Enterprise E and the D. We'll start off with the Enterprise E tonight. I've got one that is fully primed, and then I've got this one behind me that the bottom of it is primed, and I have to prepare the top for primer tonight. I won't be priming it tonight. I want to be able to clear out the air, have good air circulation in here when I do that. So that's opening up the big doors, and so I can have some proper airflow. But I need to get it prepared. So I need to make sure that all of the masking that needs to happen is done. I think most of the masking is done, but I also have to put some fiber into the apertures for the navigation lights so that they don't get paint on them. Skull is here. Welcome, Skull. Says, hi, Andrew Keith. Might be my new computer, but you sound very quiet. Do I sound very quiet? Well, that might just be because I set everything back up tonight from scratch. So, things may have been adjusted. So let me check everything. Let me increase my input levels a little bit and tell me if that helps, okay? So from here on, does it sound better? Although Dash says doesn't sound quiet to me. So maybe it's not quite for everybody. It's not, the levels aren't going up overly far on my streaming software. So it could be that it was slightly lower. But yeah. So this is the new setup that we're going with, and I think it's going to work out quite well. Dash says it's louder now. Casey's Model Mayhem says volume sounds good to me. Skull says that's much better to me. And Casey says, hi, Dash. So, okay, we're going to get working. Let me put my keyboard over to the side. Let me run back here. Let me grab an Enterprise. You can see that she's got primer on the bottom. So we're going to be preparing this thing for primer. Yeah, I need to make a quick adjustment to my overhead cam because my overhead cam arm has not been arming properly. Give me one moment. Like I said, everything is a fresh setup here tonight. So, So there are bound to be some glitches here tonight. So please bear with me. No, there is no bear with me, but please bear with me while I make the appropriate... I need to be able to see what I'm doing there. All right. I think my overhead cam is going to take a little bit to get kind of positioned perfectly, but let me fade over to it and let me throw my face in the corner. And I'm going to reposition my face in the corner, I think. There we go. The only thing that's going to be tricky is when I do this. It says, and Keith says, good evening, everyone. That's going to cover my face, but I'm sure that's okay. Just because of where the model is situated on the frame, I think that's going to be good. Let's see. Dash says his overhead arm has not been aiming properly. Does this mean it's disarmed? Ha. No, the arm was slowly going down, and I just hadn't noticed it because I wasn't on that that camera shot. All right, so I have not forgotten to mask the phaser array this time, although I'm seeing some area up here. where the mask is coming loose. So let me grab a tool. You may not be able to actually see that because you'd have to be pretty close to this to see that. So I'm just going to move this mask a little bit because it's a multi-part mask. There we go. Just make sure that's covering properly. So I do have the phaser array masked off this time. I forgot to on the other model, which is behind my desk. So you can't see that. But yeah, so we've got phaser array masked off. We've got impulse engines. The warp stuff is all... So the Bizarres, which have been masked off for quite some time. The chiller grill area, those are all masked off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a little bit of fiber, and I am going to stick some fiber in with some silicone because that'll come out easily when I want it to. And that will protect the apertures of the navigation lights. That will protect them from getting primer in. I'm just going to try to zoom this in a little bit so you can see what I'm working on as I'm working on it. So one of the issues that might happen tonight is that when I need to go get stuff, I need to remember where I put it because I've moved everything around. So a desk, that the streaming desk that was here and the desk that is here now have swapped places. And I have another workbench that was just next to the streaming desk, which is now against the garage wall, garage door. And the big, huge honking shelf that was beside the garage door has moved. Everything has moved around. So I will probably not quite know where everything is. And to be honest, the only area of the shop that looks good right now is the area you can see in my camera. Everything else is an absolute disaster still. I'm still kind of putting everything back together. So I think I've got some fiber in here. Yeah, I think this is the right size. It's nice being able to sit on a chair. Very nice being able to sit on a chair. All right, I'm just gonna double check all of the things, make sure the stream stuff is all looking good. YouTube's looking good. Twitch is looking good. Not that I'm expecting anybody to be watching on Twitch, but hey, if you're watching on Twitch, leave me a chat so that I know that you're watching me on Twitch. It's nice to know quite who's there. But everything is looking good. Looks like all of the chat is coming through to the chat program, which is awesome. All right, I just have to find the end of this fiber. Here we go. I found it here somewhere. There it is. There it is. Let me see if I can get a hold of an end. Got it. I'm just gonna chop a wee bit off here. It's probably more than I'm gonna need, but that's fine. This particular stuff is the 0.030 fiber, which is going to sit nicely in the apertures I drilled for the navigation lights. I feel like my chair is rolling over something. I don't think it is. All right, I need to get my silicone. That's convenient. My desk, my shelf, supply shelf is right there. Toothpicks. I've got toothpicks. All right. I'm gonna get a little bit of silicone on the toothpick, and maybe I will zoom it out just a little bit. It might be hard to see exactly what I'm doing with it zoomed in that much. I'm just going to chop a little piece of fiber off. Just a teeny tiny piece. Gonna get a little bit of silicone on the end. The silicone is enough to hold it in place, and I dropped it. So I'm going to need to retouch the end with silicone. Silicone is just enough to hold it in place, but it will come out nicely when I pull it out. So it's enough to hold the little bit of silicone in place there, right there. But it'll come out nice and clean when I pull it out, and then I will either permanently put a little tiny piece of fiber in, or I'll just cap it off with some Solarez or something like that. Ken asks a question and says, Andrew, what aftermarket do you use for these kits? If you're referring to aftermarket parts, I've been using the parts from Spaceways off Shapeways. May they rest in peace. But I don't know where, like the guy who makes those parts has not found a source for having those printed. And he doesn't want to give his STL files out, which is fair. You want to make sure that you protect your intellectual property. So there's currently not a place to get the aftermarket parts for those. So if that's what you're referring to, the aftermarket parts that I've added, which isn't a lot, but I have added the deflector housing is important because it's just terrible on this kit. Fits terrible. It's shaped wrong. So I did order a spare before Shapeways went under, so I do have one for the next Enterprise E that's on the kit, but I've got to figure out something for any more after that I do. All right, let's get another piece in. On the E, so you notice I put a second one in here. On the Enterprise E, not everybody knows this, I'm sure many of you do, but there are actually two navigation lights on each side here. There is a flashing white and a constant on this side, red. So on the other side, there's the flashing white and the constant on green. Same top and bottom, so there's two side by side, which is a real pain to get those in on this kit. And if you're trying to use fiber to get those lit on this kit, the saucer is never going to close. You really do need to go with those 0402 SMDs in order to get those lighted properly. All right, moving on to the white constant on the front. I'm going to get a little bit more silicone on my toothpick here. Get another piece. Hold on. Found it. Get another piece of fiber sliced. And we're going to temporarily stick it on. I am liking this setup already. I think the best part is I'm never going to have... I used to have... So let me see. I used to have my computer desk. I'm doing this while I've got this in here. That's not a smart thing. But I used to have my computer desk just over there next to my workbench. But I couldn't stream from there with a camera because you just see the messy garage in behind everything. And that's not a good backdrop for video. So I had a separate desk here that I would stream from, but I'd have to bring my my computer over, set up an extra screen. It was a pain, especially on nights when the kids didn't want to go to bed quickly. And there we go, another one in. So I just had this brainwave today of saying, like, why don't I move my working desk over here? Then my computer's always here. I can throw a camera behind the computer, shoot it towards my normal backdrop, and it all works. So that is what I have done. Okay, we're moving right along here. Somebody's playing basketball outside. I can hear it. All right. Through. Oh. this one's going to be fun because there's no division between the two here, so I'm going to have to touch that up probably with some paint somehow. That's going to be some microscopic paint work there. Okay. Chat's pretty quiet tonight. You guys are supposed to be keeping me company while I do this work. Otherwise, I'm just going to, like, plow through all the work and the stream's going to end really early. So I never really plan on accomplishing a whole lot because there's usually chatting and stuff. Okay, let me get this one in. And I'm going to check that message from Ken. Ken says, is there any photo etch you use? Yes, Ken. Where is it? Paragraphics. I'm using paragraphics on this. I'm not using a whole lot of the paragraphics. I am using the... Let me pull it out here. I've got another set somewhere around here. I'm not sure where the other set is, but I'm using... I might use these. I'm not sure. I am using the window frame for the observation lounge here, for the shuttle bay lounge. I'll be using these. I won't be using those. I'll be using the deflector details, and I haven't decided if I'm going to use the chiller grills yet. I have them in case I want to, or I may paint those stripe details on the chiller grills. We'll have to see how it goes. I haven't fully decided that. That is a let's wait and see what kind of a mood I feel in when I get there. Dash says, I was going to ask, are you doing the same as Phil with the lifeboats on the Helios D? They look raised on his model. The prints that they're using are UV printer. Like Keith is using a UV printer. I don't have my Cosmic Scale Models card on here right now. I'm gonna have to find that. But Keith at Cosmic Scale Models has printed those decals, and he's using a 5-color UV printer. Would love to get myself one of those one day. And I think that the decals themselves are quite hefty as far as the medium that is printed onto the decal film. They look fairly hefty, so I think that's just the nature of those decals. I may use Keith's decals with some modifications because I've got custom name and registry happening on one of the Enterprise Ds. So all the name and registry markers would have to be customized along with the lifeboats. They'd have to be customized because they've got the ship name on them. But also I want individually numbered lifeboats. I know that's not quite true to the studio model because they only had so much they could do, but that's a realism thing. Oh, yeah, I know it's a fake ship, but it's a realism thing for me. I just need to wipe some stuff off my hand here, and I don't know where my quick grab over here. I usually keep some quick grab squares of paper towel around just for that particular reason. And again, I've switched everything around. I've moved everything around, so I don't know where anything is tonight. But yeah, so if I go with the decal route, I'm going to be doing some custom artwork and having Keith print that for me. along with all of the markings and stuff that he's already done. But I'm contemplating painting all those details because I think the ship is big enough that I could make some masks for all the registries and pennants and have it actually look really good. All right. Okay, let's see. Danny's here. Danny says, howdy, folks. And we've got Christian. Hello, Christian. Welcome to the stream. Christian says, hello, everyone. I have developed the Excelsior Enterprise B kit for... Oh, you developed it. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. Welcome to the stream again. Hello, everyone. I have developed the Excelsior Enterprise B kit for Helios. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. It's very late in Germany, but I will be here for a few minutes. Awesome, Christian. Thanks for joining the stream. You may recognize this piece behind here. That is the 650D that is getting some windows masked right now. So I'm going to be working on that a little bit later. And thanks to the generosity of Ken, we are going to be building the 350 scale Enterprise B in the future, and it's going to be arriving in probably the next month or so, which is awesome. Christian, if you developed it, like if you did the work on it, I should have you on sometime to talk about it. That would be quite fun and interesting. I've got to say, from what I've seen in the videos, now I don't have it in person yet, but it looks really, really good, and looks like you guys have come a long way in kit development from the Enterprise D, which is great, but there are some issues. But that's part of modeling. We work through those issues and we get the product done at the end, and we do it as well as we can. But that B and Excelsior look absolutely perfect from the videos that Dennis has, Daniel. My brain is not working tonight. Anyway, the videos that you guys have posted, they look really, really good. So I'm really interested to see that, especially the metal armature that's coming with the 350 B. Really excited to see that. Dash says, I just need to know how much longer I got till they aren't offering the Excelsior anymore. So Dash, here's the thing. These are garage kits. Helios is not a large-scale producer, and they are available only for when they are available. So if there is a kit that you want... Now, I have heard that people are still getting the Enterprise D a little bit at a time, but I don't have any actual word on that. So if there is a kit from them that you want, just get it. Just get it, because I don't think that even they can guarantee how long these kits are going to be available for. So generally it's one of those get it or risk missing out, kind of like shopping at Costco, really, right? Christian says, I follow your 650D build. I have the kit myself. Yeah, I would imagine you have the kit yourself if you're working with Helios there. Ken says, thanks for developing the kit for us. Yes. I am really looking forward to building that Enterprise B and building it in that scale. I really like I'm working on the 1400E right now, but I've got two of these on the go along with the two 650Ds. So I'll do the small ones too, but I really, really like working on the big projects, especially the big projects that not a lot of other people are working on. I mean, it's kind of a little bit too bad that that Phil and Lou are also working on the 650D at the exact same time. It's from a viewership kind of point of view, but they're going to be finishing theirs pretty soon, and I'm doing things differently than they are, so I should be the only one doing videos here in the next little bit. But I'm really looking forward to doing the B in the Excel, or like basically the same thing with just some modifications. And I think that'll do my channel well doing that, and I can't wait to get it in my hands and do a unboxing video of it. But Christian, maybe you can answer this question. I'm assuming that the armature is coming from Germany, while the printed parts are coming from Hong Kong, right? Which means there might be a little bit of a delay getting the armature parts after the resin parts arrive. That's going to be my guess, because that's how it was with the D. Thing is, as soon as the Enterprise B kit arrives, I really want to be doing a unboxing video and get that out there. But if the armature is not going to be there with it, I really want to show the armature part of it too, because I think that that's going to be a game changer for people. Because we've had to develop a metal armature for the Enterprise D. I just don't trust the resin arm. And it'll be so nice to have that prefab piece together metal armature with the Enterprise B. I'm really excited to be working with that. All right, got a little bit more to do here. 4 more pieces to go in. Somebody's honking a horn. Pretty sure I know who that is. All right, let's get these in. So what's everybody else working on tonight? Because I'm assuming a ton of people are working on projects while they watch the stream, because I mean that's what I do when I watch streams. I'm working on my own projects. So what is everybody else working on tonight? Danny says, Andrew, still want to do a laser setup for that Enterprise B? I'm tempted, Danny. I'm tempted. Yeah. More for the sake of I want to figure out, because I know it's possible. Simon Merckx does lasers in his refits and TOS Enterprises on the 350s. So I know it's possible. I don't know how to do it. So I may take the opportunity to learn, given that there should be space inside. Danny also says, my hands are itching. You might want to get that looked at, or take some antihistamine, or possibly an EpiPen or something if your hands are itching. Casey's Model Mayhem says you're watching hockey at the moment. Okay, who's playing? Who are you watching? Who's playing tonight? And is it anybody that I would be interested in? I'm just going to zoom out here a little bit so that this gets into frame. So I need a little bit more fiber. Christian says, you're welcome, Ken. Yes, the armature is manufactured in Germany. I designed it as well. I tried to improve everything that I didn't like about the D kit. Well, thank you very much. And it's good practice to take what you've learned with the one and improve upon it for the second one. Ken says, I was working on my Klingon Bird of Prey earlier. And Casey's Model Mayhem says, Columbus versus Carolina. Okay, sorry, no teams I'm interested in. But always nice to watch a hockey game. I much prefer watching hockey in person, though, rather than watching it on TV. Alright. I just have the ends of the nacelles left to do, and I like those to be a little bit longer because they tend to sink in a little bit. Just the nature of how this kit is designed and how difficult it is to get those 0402 SMDs lined up in the apertures. Danny says, it's what I'm working on right now. Oh yeah, you sent me something on Facebook. I need to look at that. I just got a notification on my watch. And then Casey says, I figured they wouldn't interest you. I do prefer my Canadian teams playing. Although I'm not a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so doesn't bother me whether they're playing or not. So Danny, I'm just going to get these last two pieces of fiber in place here, and then I will go and check to see what it was that you sent me. So Christian, it's probably stupid o'clock in the morning for you in Germany. It's also stupid o'clock in the morning for Danny right now in the Netherlands. Christian, I'd be interested to find out what your as the person who designed the kit, which scale do you prefer it being in? Like which scale do you like it being in the most? There we go. The last of the five. Nope, not the last of the fiber. I lied. Well, I didn't exactly lie. Dropping these on the floor is not a good idea. Just a pro tip. My feet just left and went every which direction there. I have one more to put in the light up here, and then if I can get one in the front, I will. But I'll probably just clear that one out with my drill bit in my vise, pin vise. All right, one more piece. Before I do that, I'm gonna check to see what Danny sent me. And for some reason, Facebook's asking for a pin in order to get my chat. That's annoying. The observation lounge windows. Let's see here. Let's throw that over here. And let's just throw that up. This is what Danny is working on, and I'm assuming that it is the observation lounge windows that he's been working on. He's using some photo etch parts from you'll have to remind me who it is that's making these photo etch parts, Danny, but yeah, so that's what he's working on. All right, Ken says, are the UV color printers new technology? I believe they are, because it's the first time I've heard of them, but definitely a cool product that I want to get in my shop at some point down the line. I'll add it to the list of things once these projects are off the bench and paid for. Todd is here. Welcome, Todd. Welcome to the chat. He says hello and good evening, all. Danny says, and the sensor array. And the front windows. Those missing four. Oh, yeah. Here, let me go back. Let me go back here, and you can see. Can I zoom in here? No, I can't. But you can see that he's added the missing windows up at the front using those photo etch parts. Whereas, switching back to me here, let me just digitally zoom in here so you can see what I'm referring to. You can see that I have simply Cleaned out the area, backfilled with clear resin, and masked for that. So you get to see the various different options here, which is cool. All right. Let's get back to the chat here. Cavan, yeah, that's the name of the guy who's making those photo wedge parts that Danny's working with. Danny says he will be releasing them after an update. Very cool. People saying hi to Todd. Christian says the 3D model started at 1/460 scale, but my favorite is the 350. This will look really cool with the 1/350 refit. Yeah. I'm curious to see the size difference between the 350 parts, like 350 refit parts, and this. And Todd asks, how did the shop redo work out? Well, it is still a bit of a work in progress, Todd. But I have my computer desk here. I have my computer set up here. And so I'm not going to have to be moving gear back and forth in order to live stream, which is really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, so the only thing in my shop that didn't move was the workbench behind me. I guess I can kind of go full screen face shot here for a moment. But yeah, so the workbench is the only thing that's stayed in place. This is my my motorized stand sit desk. So I've got my computer set up here, nothing behind. I only had time to grab one of my video lights here. So hopefully that looks okay with the shot. I had a work desk beside my desk here. It's now up against the garage door. I had a big, huge shelving unit in front of the garage door. That's now beside the desk. The desk that was here is now where the other desk was, beside the workbench. I've just kind of reorganized everything. The main reason was I wanted my computer desk permanently here so I didn't have to move things back and forth. But one of the benefits is, without having the big, huge shelving unit here, and just one kind of work table, I can move that work table back a little bit and get that big garage door opens for when I'm doing big paint jobs. The other thing I want to try to do is, our garage doors have windows in the top, and they're probably about 18 inches long and maybe about 10 inches tall, something like that. I'd like to get an extractor fan insert for one of those window panels, so I can use the one workbench there as a paint area and have it and have the extractor fan right there. So I may try to play around with that a little bit. So everything is in place as far as the major parts go, but only the area around the camera is neat and tidy. Everything else is still a bit of a disaster in the shop. I did, so I don't know what you can see. You can see more of them here. Instead of, I have this big metal shelf that I had all of my model kit stash stored on, and I wanted to free up some space. And so what I've done is I've used some of the kits just to fill out the sides of my set area. I thought that might be appropriate, so for when the shot kind of goes a little bit wider, especially on live streams. So I've got over on this side, I've got 2 refits, two NX01 350s, a TOS 350, and then just a box for an Enterprise E. And then on the other side here, is the desk that is now in front of the garage door, so you can see the window. Which way am I going? This way. The windows I'm talking about. It'd be nice to put an extractor in one of those. And then I've got some of the old school kits that are still shrink wrapped, and some of the new kits there, just to kind of frame out the shot, which I think is kind of cool. So I'm quite happy about that. I'm gonna have to get a super long HDMI cable to hook this monitor back up to my computer system so I can have my YouTube channel on that screen in the background. So it's going to take a little bit just to get everything finalized and sorted, but at least I got everything back together in time to stream, which is what I was worried about. Let's see. Dash says, see, he had enough room behind him for a green screen. I mean, I'd have to block the workbench area, but that said, I have the garage door here, and if I had to, I could block the windows, I could move the desk, and I could put a green screen up against the garage door. Don't think I haven't thought about it. Don't think I haven't thought about it. I mean, I have a full green screen wall, like a big, huge green screen wall at work, and I'm considering packing up the ships when they're done and taking them in and doing some nice beauty shots in the studio with the green screen. I think that might be cool. Let's see. Ken says, Andrew, if you wrap the end of your X-Acto with masking tape and end it in flap, it can help prevent it from rolling off the table. Yeah, but the amount of times I'm using it, I'd have to be taking it on, off, on, off, on, off. And really, I should just have a block of foam that I can just like stick it in, which I have. I have a block of foam. I have a block of foam. It's got some drill bits stuck inside. So if I put that on my desk and just stick it in, I think that works out really well. So not using Ken's idea, but Ken's idea then inspired another idea, which I think works really well. Perfect. Thank you, Ken, for inspiring the idea. All right, so I should get a lid on my silicone here. It's liquid mask. It's literally just silicone in a bottle. I'm gonna let the silicone cure to hold those bits of fiber in, and I'm gonna move on to masking on the 650 Enterprise D. So this will go back over to the workbench, and yeah, just to prove the bottom has been primed there. All right, let's switch back to the workbench view here. Get my face in the corner. So far I have oh, Ken says the tape goes on the non-pointy end. Got it. I understand now. Got it. For some reason, I just assumed that the tape went on the pointy end, maybe just to prevent it from like sticking you if it fell or something like that. But I guess, yeah, that would make sense. It wouldn't roll off the desk if you put tape on the non-pointy end. Okay. Well, I've got the foam on my desk now, and that works out pretty well. So I'll go with that. But that makes a lot more sense, Ken. That's not your fault. That's my fault. I misunderstood. All right. So I've got all of the back of the neck masks on. Left is right, right is left, up is down. I've got those. I've got all of those on that side of the neck. And I am now working on windows on this side of the neck. And then I also have all of the upper secondary hull masks to do. Once those window masks are on, that's all of the window masks on, and we can move on to the next step. So we'll get these parts adhesion promoted, primed, and then we can move on to getting lighting ran and parts of the ship assembled. And I will be looking forward to doing that. So without further ado, or whatever, I have a little foam block here somewhere. Give me a moment. I need to find that little foam block because that stabilizes this part as I put the masks down. Fortunately, it didn't take me too long to find the little foam block. It just sticks underneath here. and keeps this a little bit more stable. And I need to grab a flashlight. Ooh, that was not a good thing to fall. But nothing broken. Nothing broken, so we're all good. All right. Flashlight allows me to see what's going on here better. I'm going to need something to prop that up. Again, I don't know where anything is right now. Okay, some foam pieces. One or two. Just to prop this in the right location so it is shining nicely on my windows. You can see a few of them here, shining bright so I can see. Ken asks, are you still avoiding coffee? I am drinking less coffee right now. I tried a little bit of, so I went about a month and a half, no coffee at all. And then I tried a little bit because I wanted to see how it would react with my stomach. For those of you who don't know, I am on a diet trying to lose some weight. I've got about 50 pounds to lose. I'm down about 22 pounds. And this past week was a bit of a plateau week. Fine, that happens through it. The trend is down. So I'm not much less than I was last Saturday's stream, but I'm down about 22 pounds overall, which means I've got another 28 pounds to go to reach my target so that I'm in the healthy weight range for my height, and which is hopefully going to allow me to keep my kidneys as long as possible, because I have a minor kidney condition where the tissue's inflamed, and so we want to do everything we can to protect them as long as possible, and part of that is losing the weight. But what I discovered when I went on the diet, I essentially cut out my carbs. Now I have introduced a tiny little bit of carbs once every week or two, just to help get the whole cycle kick-started again, and which seems to work out really well. Usually it's some sushi, so just a little bit of rice that does that. But I essentially cut out all obvious carbs, and I used to have really bad acid reflux. And I found when I cut the carbs, most of the acid reflux was gone. But I started to notice that if I had coffee, that it would irritate my stomach again. So I cut the coffee. So a month and a half, no coffee. I decided to try it out, just like a cup or two. And wouldn't you know, having that break from everything, I can have coffee now and it does not bother my stomach, which is great because I enjoy coffee. And I'm drinking less of it right now. I'm not drinking the amount that I was drinking previously, but yeah. So my stomach is doing a lot better with the coffee than it was pre this whole thing. So like, I'm not drinking coffee on the live stream. I'm not drinking it later at night. Caffeine doesn't affect me. I can drink a pot of coffee and go to bed, and it won't keep me up from a stimulant point of view. It was giving me acid issues, I think, at the time, but so were the carbs. Again, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know these things. This is just my experience. But yeah, since I did that, it's been fine. So I'm drinking mostly like just, especially later at night, just like water or carbonated water. We've got a soda stream upstairs, so we make our own carbonated water. I enjoy drinking the water much better that way. Got a little bit too much in my mouth there, but we're all good. All right. Masks. My masks are around here somewhere. Here they are. They're under the computer. All right, so I'm gonna continue my mask and work that I was working on last night. This might require the removal of glasses. Also, talking about the window masks that I have created for the 650 Enterprise D here. If you're building the 650 Enterprise D and you want to get a hold of those silhouette studio files, just send me a message. I will get those to you. If you are building it, you want the window masks but don't have your own cutter, I am able to make some packages for people, although Canada Post is currently on strike. So I sent out a bunch, and then like 2 days after I sent a bunch out, the postal service went on strike. So I don't know if those ones got out of the country or not before they went on strike. So I'm not currently able to send out. It's ridiculous to try to send them out by another courier right now. So I don't really want to make people spend that much money to get them, unless the strike lasts a whole long time. So I've got a package around here sitting out to go out to somebody in the States. It's just waiting for the strike to be over to go out. But if you're building this and you want the window masks, you can either get the Silhouette studio file from me if you've got a Cameo or a Silhouette cutter of some sort, or I can cut them and send them off to you. So you could just need to message me about that if you want those. If I'm cutting them for you, there is a $20 fee for cutting them plus shipping, just to cover my costs of cutting the masks and getting all that stuff done. It takes about 3.5 hours to cut the masks that I send out. So it's quite a bit of time cutting. Let's see. Christian's giving us some chat. So Christian says, to give you some history of designing this kit, Helios originally commissioned artist Lee Yi Pai to do the 3D design work. Unfortunately, the assembly wasn't totally thought out from a modeler's perspective, and the 3D model was full of inaccuracies. Lee is a very good 3D artist, but has unfortunately worked from the wrong references. I was interested in the kit as a customer, but it just had too many issues. I offered Helios to quickly fix the biggest problems, but the whole thing got a bit out of hand when I started to study the ILM model. I completely reconstructed the saucer in secondary hull, for example. I reworked basically everything in about 4 months. Wow. Well, that is awesome that you did that, because I think that we're getting a really, well, at least from what I've seen, it looks like we're getting a really good kit, and I'm excited to build it. But I've got to get these. So I've got to get these 2 Enterprise Ds out to the clients first. I've got to get 2 Enterprise Es out to clients first. I also have, after the Enterprise Es are done, I've got a 1400D and another 1400E to do to get out to a client. I will start the I will start the B once the Ds are done. So all right. Some of these windows are a little harder to place because the light does not want to get in too well from the flashlight. So I'm just having to place them from what I see, but when I can get these windows backlit, it's much easier placing down those masks. And Ken asks the question, what percentage would you give the Excelsior kit for accuracy now? Interesting question from Ken, because Ken is getting the Excelsior for himself. I am going to be building the B. go. If you're building this kit and you're masking the windows, you have to be aware that some of the windows are a little bit narrower than others. So you have that issue here on the neck. You also have that issue on the saucer, where some of the windows on the edges of the sauce, like on the, so it's an oval, right? So around the pointier part of the oval, those windows are a little bit narrower than the others. So I've had to cut multiple different sizes of windows for the same sort of windows. Light readjustment. Gotta say, I'm gonna be so glad when this part is masked and I'm done window masking. I mean, apart from swapping window masks out that come off, but I'm gonna be so glad to be done with the majority of the window masking work once this part is done. All right, gonna give Twitch a quick look, and I've got apparently two viewers on Twitch. So if you're watching me on Twitch, leave a chat so I know who you are. That's pretty exciting to have 2 viewers on Twitch. All right, nobody's chatted anything so far, and there's 11 of us on YouTube, 11 or 12 of us on YouTube. That's cool. All right, thought I'd give that a quick look. I think I'm back to the wider windows now. And if you're watching on Twitch, make sure that if you're interested in these builds, either Enterprise E or the 650 scale Enterprise D, which is going to be about 3 feet when it's done, head on over to Canadian Starships, sorry, youtube.com/Canadian Starships. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. That way you will not miss out on all of the content. I do multi-stream to YouTube and to Twitch, so you're catching this as a multi-stream over on Twitch, but make sure that you head over to YouTube to get all the content that's available. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube right now or a little bit later down the line and you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. That really does help a lot. All right. Go. So Christian says, well, by just working from pictures, I think it's about 90% there, but that's very hard to say. There are many uncertainties. Yeah, I think without having your hands on the studio model and getting actual measurements and stuff like that, you can get really close, but you're never going to get it perfect, right? Christian says, if someone were to take measurements from the ILM model, we would certainly notice things that are off. Yeah, well, I mean, it looks really good, and I'm excited to build it. The paint scheme for it's going to be a fun one because it's a little bit of a different approach than what we're typically used to with these starships. So, should be fun. And I'll be leaning on Hagen Miller's experience so far in what he's developed as far as the paint scheme for the Excelsior. So now the paint scheme for the Enterprise B is different, but it's using a lot of the same techniques as far as stencils and stuff like that. So I will be leaning on the R&D work that he's been doing so far. And Ken says 90% sounds good as long as it looks right to the eye. Yeah. And like as modelers, if we notice something, if it's within our power to adjust it, we can do that. That's part of the job of modeling, right? Yep. That knife almost rolled off again. These little square windows I'm getting in. There's only 4 of them on the whole model, so I'm just like hand cutting those off of vinyl. Danny says, oh, I just stumbled into a happy little accident. Found this weird cleaning thinner used for removing paint. It actually perfectly frosts clear parts and not just the outside of the part. Yeah, if you use like a paint thinner and dump your parts in paint thinner, it's going to frost your parts. I've done that for the Buzzards for the Enterprise E. I may have done it for these ones. I can't remember. But you can frost the whole thing, and works out fairly well. Danny says it's perfectly frosted now. So which parts are you frosting, Danny? Which parts have you dumped in the thinner and are frosting? Is it the Buzzards? If it's the Buzzards, I'll tell you, you need to put some diffusion material still behind it in order for it to diffuse the lighting properly. And because there's a curve to the part, there's an air gap between where you put your diffusion material and the surface. So that adds to the diffusion properties because it has to go through multiple layers, and space in between diffusion helps diffuse it even further. Let's see. Christian says, I also identified some of the actual kit greebles that ILM used in the lower cargo shuttle bay. I bought some of these kits and made 3D scans, so these parts are 100%. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So Christian, so you're in Germany. I'm assuming your native language is German. I'm assuming. If your English is good, then we should have you on the show on an episode, or when we go to look at the Enterprise B, so that you can talk about the design process or the little inside information, or what happened with the different parts or stuff like that. That would be kind of cool to do. Christian also says, with the help of these greeble parts, I was also able to derive other dimensions. Very cool. Danny says, well, I just cleaned up some second-hand parts I got for dirt cheap Enterprise E, and it had some clear parts, impulse engines. It wasn't my goal to do anything with the clear parts. Okay, so you were just kind of cleaning the paint off them and discovered the frosting properties. Ken says, I have seen modelers put rain gutters on the edge of their desk, and almost everything that rolls falls off the desk is caught by the rain gutters. Interesting idea. I don't think that would work with this one because it's got the curved... It's a computer desk. It's a sit-stand computer desk. And it's got the curve. So I don't think I'd really want a rain gutter at my gut while I'm working. But again, really cool, interesting idea. This window masking goes really slow on live stream. I mean, it goes slow all the time, but it goes really slow on live stream, which is fine. That's good. It's fine. I enjoy seeing the chat coming up and interacting with you guys, so keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep the chat coming. And I'm not just saying that because it drives engagement on YouTube. I enjoy having the chat while I'm working. And I think I've gotten a lot better at keeping up with the chat during the live stream while working and stuff like that. I mean, the more you do it, the easier it gets, right? But I do have to say, the more you guys chat in the chat, the easier it is for me to keep the conversation going. I hate going into a stream and it's just dead silent and somebody's just like head down working on something and there's no interaction. So I kind of feel like it's dead air if I'm not talking for long periods of time. I mean, there's some situations where, yeah, I'm gonna put the part on. I just need to concentrate for a moment. I'm not talking, but for the majority of the time, I do like to try to keep the conversation going. So that's so helpful when you guys are chatting and bringing things up and having ideas and thoughts and Christian sharing some insight into the development of the kit and stuff like that. That's all like super cool. I think I'm going to switch to the narrower windows here. And Todd says, hey, don't talk bad about our HTM streams. Todd, there is no lack of conversation on the HTM streams, that's for sure. At least not when Ian is on the stream. No lack of conversation on the HTM streams. So, Danny says, Andrew, I'm thinking, why even use the impulse engine clear parts, right? Think I'll just use some white thick styrene and put the photo etch on top. Yeah, Danny, I did not use the parts on these. I did not use the impulse parts. I just used some semi-translucent plastic sheet on there. So the light comes through really well. The red glows really nicely on it, and the photo etch is going to go on top of that. So I just cut it out there. It's cloudy enough that you can't see in, but translucent enough to really bring that red LED light through. It looks really, really good. So yeah, don't use the kit parts. You can get some really good effects with just some semi-translucent plastic sheet. Ken says, so yes, Ian has his issues. Ian keeps the conversation going. Ian keeps the conversation going and makes it interesting. It's important to have somebody on a stream who can just keep going. They can just keep talking in one incredibly unbroken sentence, going from topic to topic. It really is quite hypnotic. No, it's good to have somebody who can just keep talking. It really keeps the stream going, in my opinion. Danny says, haha, I think too much like Andrew. Maybe you saw it on my video. I don't know. Maybe you're just smart. Dash says, drinking is bad deterrent. I'm not sure what you're talking about. That's fine. Christian says, my English is not perfect, but I think it's good enough to talk about the kit on stream. But let me think about it some more. Yeah, and I wouldn't do it as a stream. I'd want to do it as a pre-recorded thing. That way, we can do retakes if necessary on stuff. I can keep the edit pretty moving along pretty well. And it's a little bit easier to manage the multiple feeds and stuff like that if it's done as a produced piece. So I would look at doing it as a produced video, not as a live stream. There's a lot of things that you can say that you would wish in a live stream that you wish you could go back and correct, but then you can't. So a pre-recorded thing is kind of what I would be interested in. Danny says, no worries, Christian. He will ask you and then forget about it. What? We did it. We did one. Danny also says, no, I already said that one. Danny also says, oh, no, not about the interview thingies. That he will actually do. And Dash says, don't drink and stream. You'll never get anything done. Well, I only drink coffee and water. So, no worries for me there. All right. More masks. Let's get more masks on this thing. Yeah, Danny's been on a video with me talking about... oh, wrong mask. Let me put that back and grab a different one. I had Danny on talking about Arduino programming and stuff like that. Worked out really well. Oh, no, you asked me to join you on a live stream and that never happened. That's what I was joking about. Yeah, we were supposed to go over something and I can't remember what it was. Yeah, it had something to do with the lighting. I don't remember what it was, Danny. What time is it where you guys are anyway? And Danny says, Andrew, it's cool. Christian, itch word s and fatch ton. I have no idea what that is. Danny also says, yeah, it was about designing LCAR stuff and linking up Arduinos with Pis. Okay. Very cool. Oh, I missed a window here. Let's grab it now. I'm kind of curious if Lou's actually going to bring his Enterprise D to Wonderfest, given that he is no longer separating the saucer. Because, I mean, it's going to be a brute to travel with, so I'm wondering if he's going to actually do it or not. I know for sure Phil is not bringing his to Wonderfest because I asked. I just have to make sure that whatever crate I build for it fits in the Tesla. Because I don't think there's any chance of us upgrading to a Model Y before Wonderfest. Because the Model 3 that we have does not have a hatchback. But all the back seats do go down flat, so if I can get it in through the back, then it won't be a problem. I'm just hoping it actually fits into the back. Danny says round 2 is is going to be all happy with all those Enterprise Ds and Excelsiors that weren't made by them, but they have the license for. Make sure to film their reactions. They already know it's there. They saw the saucer at Wonderfest. And hey, if they want to make, if they want to put the kits out, we'll buy them, right? If they can't get the kits put out, then we go elsewhere. I still think if they put out a 1,000 scale Enterprise D, then they could just print money on that one. Todd says, everybody use his code to buy a Tesla, then he can upgrade to the Y and it will all fit. Yeah, no. I mean, if you're looking to buy a Tesla, I do have a referral code in the description below. We have a 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan that I absolutely hate. And I've had to be driving it for the last while because my wife's now working at a bank branches further away. So our rule is whoever does the most driving takes the Tesla because it's cheaper that way. So I've been stuck with the minivan and I hate driving it because it's terrible. So when that dies, we'll probably replace it with a Model Y. It's just that I would love that time to come sooner rather than later. But, you know, we stagger our vehicle purchases. We need to have two, just the way life is here, with family and travel and stuff. So we always have two vehicles, and we try to stagger our vehicle purchases. So we're buying one vehicle while the other is halfway through its life. So the van isn't, so the Tesla's not halfway through its life by any stretch of the imagination yet. So we need to make the other one, the van, last longer. But, oh, I would love to replace it. Danny says, absolutely, sure thing that they know about it, but they cannot be happy with this. I don't know. Who knows? And Christian says, okay, a pre-recording, that makes things easier for me. I'll think about it. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is a lot easier to do a pre-recorded thing. A pre-recorded edited video, so much easier than trying to do it as a live. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to throw those angled windows on here because I missed them before and I don't want to get too far behind as I'm working my way down from top to bottom here. Because the angled windows on the front of the neck don't have any light behind them, so I'm just masking off the clear. Go. Hey Danny, are the commercials more under control today? Like I said, they shouldn't be pestering you because I've got it set to the lowest possible setting. Oh, Christian, question for you since you're here, or I'm assuming you're still here. So the 350 Excelsior and Enterprise Bs come with the metal armature. Do the 460s also come with a metal armature? I know that the 650s, or sorry, the 460s, whatever that one, the middle size. Does the middle size come with armature as well? Because I know that the 650 doesn't have the metal armature. So I'm just that's just a curiosity question on my end, and it's nice to know as people are asking me the questions about the kits. But apparently, I messaged Daniel asking about time frame on the Enterprise B and Excelsior kits, and he was saying that they're currently being produced and so should be shipping out in the next 2 weeks or so, which is kind of cool. It'll be nice to see them. Danny says YouTube throws me a commercial every 5 to 10 minutes no matter what channel I'm watching, so I can't tell. I think actually today it's a tad better. Well, I'm glad it's better. Ken says, mask, Andrew. Mask like the wind. I'm working on it, but I want to keep up with the chat. And Christian says, yes, the 460 also has the armature. Very cool. Yeah, I was just kind of curious about that. Danny says, oh, you did get a reply and Philly didn't? Yeah, I know. Did he try to get a hold of Helios and didn't get a response or something like that? Because there's a time difference, and so the time difference sometimes means that you're not getting a response back quickly because you're messaging them in North American time and they're trying to get back to you on German time, right? So I have never not gotten a response when I've had a question. There's been times where it's taken a little bit of time, but I have never not gotten a response back. Danny says, yeah, he was complaining about the decals, I believe, or something like that. Can't remember. Have to rewatch his video. Because I mentioned, I remember Lou's latest video, he had lost his impulse engine, his saucer impulse engine cowling. That's a bit of a tongue twister. His saucer impulse engine cowling. And something about not reaching out to Helios because that's a non-starter or something like that. He ended up finding it after having new parts designed. So maybe you were thinking of Uncle Lou's video. I don't remember Phil saying anything about it. But their builds are kind of carbon copies of each other. I just watched both of their updates today while reorganizing my studio, and so I watched them back to back, and they're kind of doing the exact same things at the exact same time because they're working on it together, right? So you watch one and you kind of know what the other one's doing, but it's interesting to see both of them anyway. I'm always interested to see how other people are approaching the same things. I mean, a lot of the times I don't agree with the way other people are doing things, and I'm going to do it my own way anyway, but I'm still really, really interested to see just how people approach things differently. I think it's really cool. Although seeing Lou's video today, kind of the decals from Keith look really, really good, minus some white offset issues. Which if there is going to be white offset issues, which I know it's really hard to print white backed decals. I may lean more towards painting all my details, but we'll have to see. Danny says, yes, I think Lou also didn't get a reply from them. I'm absolutely sure Phil said he reached out to them about something and he never got a reply. So yeah, that's not been my experience. Sometimes it takes time, like I said, but I've always gotten a reply back. So there's been a couple times where I've just sent a second message and then they've gotten back to me, but generally I get the information that I need. Okay. Let's see. It is 10:35 p.m. So about 25 minutes left before I need to go. So let's see how many windows I can get done in that period of time. So much for Christian only sticking around for a couple minutes at the beginning of the stream. He's pretty much been here the entire time. Which is cool. And Christian, if you're still here, I'd really be if we do a video thing like that, I'd be really curious to see your take on the design. How do I say this? The design approach differences between this kit here and the Enterprise B/Excelsior kits. Just based on my observations, it seems like the D was designed, and the peripherals, especially around the D, were designed for a specific build method that isn't necessarily the way I build kits. And I'd be curious, like, your insight on that, as far as the difference between the design principles or design philosophy, maybe difference between how they did the D and how you approach the Excelsior B. For example, Helios never intended for you to fill in these windows. They intended you to use the wallpaper decals over top and just let the decal film be the window, which isn't my approach. But that's kind of, and using wallpaper decals was kind of just the assumption that that's what everybody would do. Danny says, I'm rewatching the Phil vid 5:30. He does a rant about the decals. Yeah, I know he talked about the decals. Those decals do need a lot of help. I wouldn't use them. Then again, I don't use wallpaper decals. I paint my details. So I already knew off the top I was not ordering the wallpaper decals, because it's not my method. It's like everybody telling me when I did the first E that you can't paint the detail on the E. Kind of took that as a bit of a challenge. Don't tell me I can't do it. I'll figure out a way to do it. You can tell me you don't think I should do it. Oh, there I am, leaving chat on the screen again. Just another service I provide. You can tell me it might not be a smart idea to do it. You can tell me that you wouldn't advise me to do it. Don't tell me I can't do it, because then I'll figure out a way. Now there's masking kits for it, so, you know, things change. It's gonna be interesting, because I only do this part-time, so I'm a lot slower than the guys that do this full-time. It's gonna be interesting to see as I progress through the next number of videos and progress on the kit, how many people are gonna say, "Oh, you're doing this the same way that Phil did," or "You're doing this the same way that Lou did," on all those things that I was already doing that way, like the phaser strips or the painting the Aztecs and all that kind of stuff, that they came around to my way of doing it. It's going to be interesting to watch the comments and see how many people talk about how I'm doing it the same way they did. That'll be interesting to see. Well, so far since I mentioned it, I think I've got a solid 8 window masks on in 5 minutes. If I'm just sitting in the shop on my own, no live stream, just some video on or something going on like that, I can generally get going pretty quickly on these. Ken says, now I'm gonna have to look at prices for UV color printers and see if it would allow me to print decals. So Ken, it will absolutely let you print decals. And let you do the white ink, it'll do metallics, it'll do all that. And you can get, so the one that Keith is using is a 5 color. You can get 10 color UV printers, and yeah, it instantly cures. So it lays down whatever the medium is, it instantly cures. 5 color UV printer. Let's see. Well, there's one here. And I'm just trying to see the print size. Yeah, this one's too small. If I see an example, there's a flatbread, right? A flatbed Roland Versa Studio BD-8 desktop UV flatbed printer for $12,995 Canadian. I'm not buying that one. I'm not showing the screen unless there's something I want to show, just in case information comes up that I don't want on live stream. Let me check Amazon. 5 color UV printer. Is there anything on Amazon? Yeah, I think finding the right one could be tricky, and finding one at a reasonable price could be tricky. Anyway, let's see. Todd says, does Andrew need a producer? Well, I'm not really set up for a producer right now. At least not one that could control what I'm doing. Although my chat, I could have somebody in on audio, and I could have somebody activating the chat on my screen. They just couldn't deactivate the chat on my screen. Let's see. Christian says, unfortunately, I made a mistake on the 1460 kit. I exported the wrong file version of the secondary hull. The first batch is missing the hole for the mounting rod. Yeah. That's what drills are for. Sorry to everyone who will receive this. It is fixed on the later runs. Yeah, there were a few things on the 650 Enterprise D as well that were missing on the first run. Actually there's one thing that's missing on all of them. There's no wall where the no inside wall where the saucer impulse engines are. So you have to scratch build the inside wall where the impulse housing goes, because the impulse housing doesn't cover all of that. So you have to scratch build that before you insert the impulse. But yeah, there's that stuff that happens. Ken says, ouch. Probably to the $12,599. Yeah, I'm assuming that's a high end printer. Danny says, found it. 52 about in Phil's 52 minutes in Phil's video. He tried to use some of the Helios decals, but they disintegrated in water. 5335, he says he never got replies from Helios. Now I know I wasn't making it up. Yeah, I was rearranging my shop at the same time, so I don't know. I probably just missed it. I remember Lou's comment, but yeah. So the three beep. Let's try that again. The UV printers I don't think are inexpensive, but also I think that they are a newer technology, and anytime that you have a newer technology out, it's going to be very expensive, and eventually down the line it'll come a little bit less expensive. But I like that it does the white, and I like that it does the metallics, because there's some decals where you want some metallics and stuff like that. So definitely something I'm going to be looking at as a future tool in my shop. That's for sure. Todd says that's twice now that Andrew has sounded like a turkey near Thanksgiving. Well, Thanksgiving is what, we're in November, so well, I mean, it's 11 months away from now, so we're nowhere near Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving, at least. All right, more masks, everybody, more masks. I think having a UV printer in the shop would be transformational. Transformational, right? That's not a word. Transformational for any builder's shop. Just like having a vinyl cutter is transformational to have, for a modeler to have in their shop. I mean, it's really cool that companies like Silhouette or Cricut give us consumer products that are at a reasonable price, that do the things that we need them to do. I mean, not to the scale of what Lou does, but it's really nice to have that type of stuff in the shop. I think this is going to be something that, although pricey, would be really nice to have. Christian says they basically just scaled it down, but I don't know the exact history. Todd says, don't even think about it, Ken. All right, more Windows. But yeah, if you can definitely do the producer thing a lot easier if you're using something like your avoiding the turkey sounds StreamYards, right? So if you're using something like StreamYards where each person can get in and get into the controls and stuff like that, that would make producing a lot easier, which is why I think Todd's able to hop onto Jordan's streams and help him out with that. Yeah, I think I managed the stream stuff pretty well. Ken says thinking about one for me. Yeah, Ken, if you're able to get yourself one of those printers, I think that it would open up a lot of doors for you. Ken's decal shop. Yeah. Ken's hobby bench and Ken's decal shop. Todd says, do you want in on our StreamYard account? I don't have the budget in the shop right now to be able to do that. But possibly down the road, once I get these projects off the bench and open up some cash flow in the shop, I might buy in with you guys. So Danny said, hold on, Christian, could you make us a fully accurate 1000 scale Enterprise E? And Christian said, you missed the first part of my message. Let me go to YouTube. So Christian, if you're referring to, they basically just scaled it down, but I don't know the exact history. I'm not seeing, if that's the second half to a first half, I'm not seeing the first half in the chat anywhere. I was kind of wondering what that meant, but if it's the second half of a two-parter and I don't have the first half of it, that would make sense. So I mean, if you're able to type that out again and put it into the chat, then we'll have some context to that. Because I even went talking is hard. I went to YouTube to check the YouTube stream chat, not just relying on my chat software, and I don't see it in that chat. So because I saw, sorry to everyone who received this, it is fixed on the last runs, and then your next one was they basically just scaled it down, but I don't know the exact history. So yeah, I don't know. I can't see another chat in there. So if we could get 1000 scale Enterprise E at some point from somebody, Titan Models, I think is what they were called. They had 1000 scale Enterprise E, but getting a hold of that kit is next to impossible. It's just not out there anymore. But 1000 scale Enterprise E would be a really nice thing to have. I want a commercially made Enterprise D at 1000 scale, and either a commercially made or a really nice garage kit in 1000 scale in Enterprise E. I think that they would do really well and look really nice together. Danny says, Christian, where in Germany are you located? Not a question I can answer. Christian says, Danny, I actually thought about doing an Enterprise E, but no promises yet. I mean, the 650 scale Enterprise E used to be like my holy grail kit that I wanted to get a hold of because it was only put out by Sovereign Replicas and it wasn't made anymore, and getting a hold of it at a price that anybody could afford was next to impossible. But in recent years, it's been re-released, and it's now released by two different companies. I think it's Ed Holt does it, and then Marshall Models has it, and I think they're all done from the same originals, Sovereign Replica model. So you can get a hold of that, which is really nice. It would be nice to have a bit of a better designed kit, because those resin kits are a little bit of a brute to build. Kind of like the Don Shoko Resin Enterprise D at 1000 scale. It's a bit of a brute of a kit to build, because there's just casting issues and stuff like that. So Danny says, I need the D and the E, or in general TNG ships in 1000 scale to start building the 1000 scale fleet I want to keep for myself. Christian says, strange that part of my message is not in your chat. Tried it again, but I think it's lost again. Yeah, we're not seeing it. I wonder if it's being filtered. I wonder if if it's being filtered for some reason. So Christian, if you're able to, if you've got Facebook, hop over to Facebook and search for Canadian Starships, and then send me a message through there with what you were trying to put through on the chat, and I'll be able to read it out on the chat, or I'll read it out on the stream. So if YouTube's not allowing you, just go over to Facebook, find Canadian Starships, and then just send me a message through there, and I'll get it. Oh, talking about Facebook, I'm gonna have to show this, I think. Let me throw this over to the other screen. Our friend Hagen Miller has some pictures to share of the 650 Helios Excelsior kit. Let me just make sure that I'm showing the right thing here. Let me crop the screen grab of it. One moment, please. Okay, I think this should be good. Let me. So Hagen Miller has just posted these on Facebook. So this is the back end of the 650 Helios Excelsior, and he's put some a banana on for scale. No, a shuttlecraft on for scale, and I do believe, let me zoom in on the original, some 650 figures. Oh, I'd love to get my hands on some 650 figures. I'd love to put some 650 figures in on the bridge and in the conference room. Oh, I need to find out where he got those. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, so that is the 650 scale Excelsior from Helios, the back end of it. Very cool. All right, let's get back to this here. All right. Oh, I've got some chat to catch up on. Todd says, might be held for review. You need some of us to be moderators. Oh, good thought. You know what? I don't even know where in studio, in YouTube Studio, I would go to check that. I will need to learn that. Interesting. Yeah, it could be held for review. We've got something coming in on Facebook here. So Christian said the D kit was maybe a bit rushed by Helios, but lessons learned. It was developed for the one-off 6-foot model that Helios did. You can find the project on the Helios website. They basically just scaled it down, but I don't know the exact history. Yeah, I was aware of that because they did the 6-foot and then scaled the kit down. So probably some wonky things, and especially with the windows when they scale the kit down, I would imagine. All right. Let's get back to the chat. Might be held for review. You need some of us to be moderates on your channel. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to do that, and maybe I will pick a couple of you to be moderators. Todd says, or go look at your stream on YouTube, muted, of course. Let me go look on my stream on YouTube, muted, of course. My channel, of course, you guys see. Nope, that's the wrong place. Of course, you can't see anything I'm doing here because it's on a screen that I'm not sharing. View your channel, view your stream, muted, of course, and I have to wait for an advertisement to play. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the YouTube chat on my stream. Danny says, Christian, if you were to do an Enterprise E 1000 scale, where would we be able to learn about it? Helios? That would be my guess. Christian says, Danny, Frankfurt is probably the closest city you would know. Danny says, ha ha ha, oh, Hagen, those 1/650 figures. Christian says, yes, most likely via Helios. I mean, the infrastructure's there, right? So that makes sense. Here, let me might as well do this while I'm reading because you can see my face actually. Studio settings, gear icon, community tab. So let's see. Studio settings. Yeah, I'm in the studio. Oh, no, I need to go the other, not the live studio, but YouTube studio. Settings. Community. Add managing moderators. Yeah, I can do it that way. All right, so when I get a chance, I will look at that. So I'm assuming, Todd, you're volunteering to be a moderator on my channel. Is that what I'm hearing? Let's see. Todd says, you add people with their tag like at. Yeah, okay, got it. And Danny says, just ignore the German chatting, Andrew. Okay, I will ignore the German chatting. All right, but it is 11:02 p.m. That means that I need to get heading off for the night because I always have an early start on Sundays. Todd says, standard mode is fine. Managing mods can change blocked words, etc. And says, sure, I would help out. Sweet. Okay, good to know. Thank you. I'll look at that. It probably will not be tonight, but I will look at that now that I know where to go. All right, so that is going to be it for me streaming tonight because tomorrow, Sunday, I have to be up early, and I have to deal with some live stream issues tomorrow because seems that vMix and A10 Mini Pro from Blackmagic Design are not currently talking to each other through USB properly. And we're getting video freezing, so I have set up a new setup using OBS, which is not as user-friendly as what vMix is, but if it works, it's better than something that doesn't work. So I've got that to look forward to tomorrow, so I need to be up and out a little bit earlier for that. RAF Warp Drive, welcome to the stream. Says thanks for the stream, Andrew. Ken says thanks for the show. Take care. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining me. We got a little bit of work done. That I might throw some primer down on that Enterprise E before I head off for the night, and then lock up the shop so that none of the fumes, none of the paint smell comes into the house. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. It was great to have Christian in the stream, giving us a little bit of insight into the design on the Enterprise B/Excelsior, which I'm excited to get into the shop in the next number of weeks and have a good look at. If you have enjoyed this stream, make sure you hit that like button if you're new to my channel, or you haven't done so yet, why not hit that subscribe button today? You'll make me very happy if you do. But for now, my name is Andrew. This is Canadian Starships. Have a great night, everyone.